Where do I begin with this trip? Where do I begin? It started on the 4th. It started on the 4th of May. Some dickhead out there on the fucking main road with a car. I wasn't sure. I finished work at I was on the early shift actually, because I was covering a couple of holidays for a work colleague. So I would have normally been on the late shift, I think. Yeah, probably. So I got away early on the 4th. I had food for a couple of days. So it was driving south. The first night was I spent on the Yorkshire moors. In the second night, the first night I didn't cook because it was late when I actually got settled, because I spent a bit of time in a pub on the way there which I didn't know existed. It just happened to turn up on the side roadside, and I thought I'll call in. So I wasted a bit of time in there. The 4th of May 2018. It's 11 PM. Haven't long been at this spot. I'm on the North Yorkshire moors. I called it a pub earlier, which I didn't know was even there, middle of nowhere. I had 2 pints. The plan was to get here earlier, but obviously I stopped off in that pub, so I lost the chance to cook really. It was about 8 PM I think when I landed in the pub. I was going to cook a meal tonight, but I'll probably cook that same meal tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, because it's chicken and I don't want to leave it any later. It'll have to be tomorrow. So I'll have to get that out of the way. I didn't want to waste it really. So this is the first night of possibly 4 nights. Wait, 4 nights. I've got a holiday in for Tuesday next week. Bank holiday on the Monday. Something's come up, that's why. Tomorrow night, I'm not certain. Tomorrow night, I'm not certain where I'll end up. Possibly on the coast if I can get there and get somewhere to park. Somewhere down there, Whitby somewhere or whatever. Maybe it's further south. The plan is on the Sunday night is to end up in Lincolnshire on a campsite for 2 nights, Sunday night and Monday night. There's a reason I'm going to Lincolnshire, but I'm not going to get into that at the minute. So the campsite will be a welcome, like, sort of shower, and there's a pub on the site, so the possible cooking will be in the pub. Obviously, for a couple of nights I'm there, the meal will be in the pub. Might as well take advantage of the on-site pub. So I got supplies in for 2 nights. 40 odd pound of shopping actually. It was supposed to be for the night, but obviously it's been too late to cook by the time I've actually gotten here. So I'll probably cook that tomorrow, and like I say, and cook tomorrow afternoon with chicken. And then the next night I've got a steak, which I don't know, like I say, I don't even know where I'm going to end up. And obviously I'll be in Lincolnshire on the Sunday, like early afternoon, and I'll get on that site. I've got like a hook up as well. I was looking to get it booked actually, because I tried to get like a site earlier, about a month ago, for the bank holiday weekend, and couldn't seem to get anything anywhere, you know what I mean? I wasn't trying as far south as Lincolnshire, but couldn't get anywhere around North Yorkshire for the bank holiday weekend. So I gave up on it. But something come up, so I needed a campsite for the showers. Else if I didn't get one, I would have had to just postpone this sort of like early trip and just make it later, which I would have missed out on the first probably couple of night or two. But because I've gotten the shower on the side, I can just sort it out. Look forward to that. Until then, it'll be baby wipes. Wiping the neck of my arse with baby wipes. Keep them clean and sexy. That's me. Your number one camperman. See you there.
Constantly with King running in behind alongside Wilson. That was a constant threat to the back line of Swansea, and they thoroughly deserved to come away with the victory. I was disappointed with Swansea in the second half. You know, a couple of occasions they've actually done that. I sense a little bit of frustration from Everton. I think they dropped off too much. Everybody's trying to get behind the ball, but they're just making some little scrappy mistakes that they've got to try and null out.
Miles and miles of just fields. Miles and miles of fields.
Really have anyone who was in there trying to...
It's like driving in a different country.
Was a decent shot. Here's Lamina running from deep.
So I still had food for 2 nights. Second night, I ended up on the coast, somewhere between Grimsby and Maplethorpe. Sort of like on the North Yorkshire coast, or East Yorkshire, whatever you want to call it. It was a lovely spot. So I cooked that night, cooked the chicken, as you'll see. What a place to have a 4-wheel drive on there, or a quad bike or something like that. Fucking amazing. Flat as fuck. I would say the sea is probably fucking 2.5 miles away, and it's just pure flatness of hard sand. I think you could do a fucking one of them jet car land speed records on this fucker. Yeah. Amazing. You could spend all day just like with a 4-wheel drive on there, like. It's just the water just seems so far away, like, but you can see it, and it's just all flat right out of the water. There's a ship over there. It's the 5th of May 2018. It's 8:20 in the evening. Your sun is just on its way down there in the west. Meanwhile, in the east, this is what we've got outside. back to you. I'll just take you around Dave's Wild Campervan kitchen. We'll get back to you. Right, what we've got here, I've got some chicken, what I've just cooked. Got some potatoes on the boil. Got a few other things which we can do something with. And we'll get back to you. Some potatoes on the boil. It's fight night tonight. We'll have Tony Bellew and David here too fight tonight, so I look forward to that. Not sure who I want to win. I never used to like David here. Thought he was a bit of a big head and that, but I don't know. I'm not liking Tony Bellew either, to be honest. So I'd probably prefer David here to win, actually, even though I never used to like him. But I watched a recent interview with him, and don't know, I probably like him a bit more than I did. But Bellew's, I don't know, he can be a total arsehole as well. So we'll see how it goes. And get back to you. A few peppers, a mushroom. We'll add all this back to the final dish. Get back to you. That's a beef tomato, chopped up. We'll add that into there. Alright, that's about done, I think. The rice is done. Go and add it to that. I'll bring it back. What do you think? What do you think?
Yeah, a bit in awe of Tony Bellew, and I've always thought anything connection with the Perry, obviously. Oh, definitely, so I saw his fight.
The next night, I had a campsite booked two nights down Lincolnshire, because I had a job interview in Lincolnshire, see, a place called Market Raisin, where the race course is down there. So the campsite was sort of like about 20 minutes drive, or whatever, 30 minutes drive from Market Raisin. So the interview wasn't till Tuesday, 1 o'clock Tuesday, which was today. I'll come to that in a minute. So they're like so when I was down there, I drove a lot of miles around there, Lincolnshire, and it's a lovely place. One thing I've noticed driving through Lincolnshire, all the fields, there's no livestock anywhere. It just seems to be all like sort of crops. Don't see any sheep and cows like you do where I come from, up the north. There's a lot of that oil stuff, rapeseed oil or whatever it's called. It's just all like sort of fields of vegetation, flat fields. The last time I was in Lincolnshire was as a kid. We used to go to Skegness, like a campsite down there where it was mainly the caravan. We used to go in. We used to book caravans and that on the site. Chapel St Leonard's was like sort of just north of Skegness, and we used to go into Skegness every day. When we're down there, you know. I remember once the van broke down. We used to go on this Campervan thing, and it broke down, and it was took to a garage down that way. We had to walk into Skegness. We actually ended up sleeping in this van on a garage sort of like premises. And there was rats around. I remember that when we were kids. And we were sleeping. There was 6 of us. This is no word of a lie. There was 6 kids, 2 adults, sleeping in a van what was full of camping gear, full to fucking top and side of camping gear. And I think we even took the fucking hamster, the goldfish and everything. Fucking hell, man. And we were sleeping in this van, and we had to like sort of walk. I remember it was fucking hard, like. And every day we're walking into Skegness. It was a good few mile, and obviously I don't know what we're doing for like showers and all that. I mean I was just a kid. And the van was a good few. Because it was a weekend. That was it. I think we're on our way home. To be honest, we had a week's holiday, and we're on our way home, and the clutch went in the van. But there was obviously the breakdown. Like drop us off at this garage, but the garage wasn't open till the Monday, so we had to stay in this fucking van all weekend, sleeping. 6 of us, 8 of us, like including the parents. And it was just a fucking Campervan. It was full of it. Even had fucking cop. Oh, hang on, I'm trying to think. No, I'm probably thinking of another time. I don't know if we went with a tent then. I can't remember. I'm sure we might have went with a tent. I can't remember now. But we used to do a lot of camping with tents, and sometimes we used to go in a caravan. But it was quite a. So it was a good few days before they got the clutch done, and it was just it just spoilt the holiday. Really, it was just turned into a nightmare, to be honest. But anyway, that was the last time I was in Lincolnshire. We went there a few times down there. So, but I never really seen the countryside. Obviously, you don't appreciate it when you were a kid. Anyway, when you're driving around, I wouldn't have noticed it. You know what I mean? You're just more for like the shows and stuff like that. And but I probably wouldn't have seen much of it anyway, because we would have probably took the coastal route and down to Skegness and down that way. But when you drive inland a bit, it's just fields and fields and fields, and it's just amazing. Like it's what I did notice, there wasn't much. There wasn't many like sheep. I don't think I've seen any sheep at all, or very. I think I've seen one field with cows in, and I've seen a lot of fields, and it was all just like sort of like crops and that, you know. There was just no like sort of hardly any livestock at all. But it was just nice to see, and the roads were like, it was like driving around France, to be honest, because I drove a lot of miles in France about 10 years ago, and it was like driving around there. You go into this little village maybe, and it's just a few houses, and then you drive straight back out, and then you're just back into the countryside again, and it's like that for miles and miles and miles, and then you might come across another little village, I mean, there's only come through a couple of big towns. There's one called, like, I think it's called Luff or something like that. L-O-U, whatever, G-H, I can't remember exactly how it's spelled. But obviously Market Raisin's a decent sized town as well. But there were only two real big towns that actually come through, and the rest were just little, like, tiny little, few cute little houses here and there, you know. And it was just all countryside. But it was a good experience. Night number 3 of this mini adventure. Got the kettle on with a pan on for a brew. Got a can open there. It's time to cook. The day's wild camperman kitchen. We'll get back to you. We'll get back to you. Anyway, I went for this interview. So the first night I spent on the campsite and that, and I drove into, like, sort of like down the coast and that. And I went to a place called Cleethorpes. It's just north of Skegness. I only went down there because it was the only McDonald's that, that I could find. And it was just the most busiest McDonald's I've ever seen in my life. It was just, never ever been in a McDonald's like that before. It was near like a boating lake, It was a lovely place, like, but it was just crowded. It was a really hot day as well. There was loads of people about. So basically I just went to McDonald's and ate my stuff and come out, and then I didn't go right into Skegness. I just turned back, like, sort of back inland again.
Over 50 years since they won the title. Over 25 years since they won the FA Cup. In our recent memory, I mean, I'm scratching around in memory trying to think back. What was it, League Cup in 2008? 10 years ago? But it's a different thing. When people talk about it, make out as though there were no Arsenal before Wenger, though, they did win the title before Wenger get there.
Twice in 3 years, yeah, and a European trophy.
That's what I'm trying to say to you. So they had a success. They had success before Wenger got there. Well, not long before he got there, actually. It was only like the manager who took over had a bad run of it, and then Wenger came in and he had that solid defence, and they went on and won the titles. But we told them they haven't got that behind them, have they? You've just said they haven't won the title for 50 years.
But obviously I went for the interview the day. But what it is, I didn't expect this last night. This night I'm on now, I'm actually on another campsite, which is actually southwest of Birmingham. It's sort of in between. It's in between Worcestershire and Shropshire, sort of smack in the middle. There's a little sort of bit of like a foresty sort of, I forget the name of it, but that's like the area I'm in, and I'm on this campsite. The reason I come down here was I've drove straight from here, from like sort of Market Raisin straight to here, about 2.5 hours drive or 3 hours drive or something. Probably about 3 hours. I meant to go home after the interview, but I've been wanting this pop top roof done for ages, and I've been researching a few different companies, and there's a one down Worcestershire which I've been speaking to through email for quite a bit. And for this type of van I've got, they don't do the front lift pop top roof. They only do the rear lift on this type of van. Explain why. It's something to do with the strengthening there in the side of the van and like the longer top. They don't like to cut that away, sort of thing, because it weakens the structure of the van or something. So they only do the rear lift on these vans or something. But I was a bit worried about like the cooking areas at the front of the van. I was worried about the head height. But they showed us a video of what they've got on Facebook, and it shows you a guy come in the van. He's standing up at the front of the van where the roof tips at the back, and he still says you can stand up in the front. So, but I didn't want to spend like $3,500–4 grand on this roof if it's not what I'm after. It's not something you can just like say, oh, I'll change your mind, I'll have the other. Once you get it done, you know what I mean. It's something that you're stuck with. So I didn't want to spend all that money and not be happy with it. So I didn't know what to do, because I've tried a few different companies and I've been trying to weigh up the price and stuff like that. And some of them don't even do it on these vans on the later models, which mine is. They do it on the older models, but not this one. So that's OS tops are called. They don't even do this van, you know what I mean. And a few others. I'm just, like I say, it's been a nightmare. It's been a nightmare. So anyway, I decided, while I'm down this way, I mean, it's still a canny journey from Lincolnshire over to here, but it's about an hour and a half less than what it is from mine down to here, if you know what I mean. So I thought, while I'm like sort of a little bit further south, I'll come down here. So I give them a ring up, and I told them, I says, I emailed them first, and they said that, I says that it would be nice to actually see one, walk inside one and make me mind up, sort of thing. So he says we've got one in, so he says you could come down. Or he says you can meet us, we're going to a show, there's like a motorhome show in August. He says we're there, and you could come in and see it then. But obviously this would be the best option, because the quicker I get it done, the better, sort of thing. Because I wanted it done this year, because I want to go away with my mate in it, see. We were thinking about like sort of going away for a week or something, you know. So this was so I decided, like, I rung him up and I says I'll come through and see it. So anyway, I was supposed to be at work tomorrow on the early shift, like 7 till 3, which I wouldn't have been able to do it. So my mate, the work mate, is going to like cover my early shift, and I'll do his later shift. So it's give us the opportunity to like sort of get up in the morning, go to this place at 9:30, see this camper van with the roof like done and all that, and see the quality of it, and see what they're doing and all that, and possibly pay the deposit money and get it all set up to get them to do it. And I don't think you can do it till July or August anyway, do you know what I mean? But at least I'll be able to get it booked in. And I might still be able to use it, get a bit of summer out of it before the end of the year. That's the plan anyway. So I'll see him tomorrow, and then I'll head up home. It's about over 4 hours back up home from here. So it's basically it's going to be a long haul, and then I'm I'll be more or less getting back up home, and I'll be going straight into work. So I'm not really looking forward to that, but that's the way it's got to be, you know what I mean. Basically it's see him for an hour, then straight back up. Be nice if I can get up there and have a couple of hours before work, sort of thing. But anyway, that's a plan. Quite a nice campsite. Quite a nice campsite.